Hello, it's John Heaton, coming to you today from Canizaro Park in Wimbledon, where as usual in the mornings you can have it to yourself almost, in the weekdays anyway. And today I was going to take you through a few Beatles related finds which I found in London over the last week or so, starting with this magazine from Mojo. So this is the blue edition, and there was a previous one called the red edition. And basically what this does is covers the period of the Blue Album, and has an essay on each album or period from various people like John Savage, Paul Denoyer, Louis Wilson, and some pretty interesting stuff in here, even some stuff which I hadn't heard of before, and some quite interesting photo collages like that, and got the White Album at the beginning, which is nice. And then this essay on the solo years from Peter Doggett is actually quite interesting, because there was something in here which I'd never read. It was a line from Lennon's letter to Mccartney in '71, published in the Melody Maker, where he was slagging off Paul, and as you probably remember, several lines from that letter were left out for libel reasons, and one of them is included here. So your conceit about us and Klein is incredible, he rallied. You say you made the mistake of trying to advise them against him, and that pissed them off, and we secretly feel that you're right. Good God, you must know we're right about Eastman. Then he added, in an aside unpublished at the time for legal reasons, he can't even control himself in public. Even the people he buys paintings from squirm. Brackets, shit from the inside, baby. That's interesting. I'd like to hear the other lines which were omitted for libel reasons, because I don't believe I've ever seen the full letter. I think in Hunter Davis's collection of Lennon letters, it's only got the published version. And then also in this magazine they have a review of each track, going through side 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Blue Album, and some interesting pictures. I hadn't seen this one in Rishikesh before, I don't think. So you know, nothing too new, but recommend it if you live in London. Probably a bit expensive if it's exported to the US, but it was only, what was it, £8. It's not too bad. Pretty good value, I think. And then there's a shop called Pleasures of Past Times. I think it's in Cecil Court. It's just off Trafalgar Square in London's West End. And I'd been there previously briefly, but I spent more time in it this time, and I asked him to dig out his rare stuff, and he had a Lennon autographed Spaniard in the works. I said, how much is that? He said, £2,750. So nice to see that, even though I wasn't going to buy it. And then it had a George Harrison autograph from 1962, which was only £750. Ringo autograph, £450, I think. And then a signed Linda's pictures, signed by Linda, where she actually wrote "Go Veggie, Love Linda," which is what she signed for me. That was nice to see. I think he was charged. It was a hardback copy of Linda's pictures, which I haven't seen too often. And he was charging £475 for that. Anyway, so that was all quite interesting. And then also picked up some sheet music. So this is "Only You" from Ringo. Just nice to have any sheet music from Ringo, really. And then this one is nicer to have because of just the picture sleeve alone. Because I don't believe I've seen Junior's Farm in this picture sleeve, although I know this was the publicity shot for the single. And because it's in nice, almost A4 size, it's I had to pick it up immediately. And then, to my delight, I found the Wings Over America sheet music, and this was only £10, which I thought was a bargain. I won't open it, but it's got all the tracks, and it's got some nice pictures, most of which are familiar, but poor old Jimmy is not featured because he's somewhere here, I guess. But nice to have the gatefold of the album on the. I'd never actually seen this sheet music before, so that was really nice. And then this is a book which I bought on Amazon. I got it delivered. This is from the Mad Day Out. So as you know, we're in 2018 July now, the 50th anniversary of a few things really. Apart from recording several tracks for the White Album, this is the month where the Yellow Submarine premiere was in London, attended by all four Beatles. And to celebrate this, several cinemas are showing Yellow Submarine in the cinema. I guess it's true in other countries as well, but certainly in the UK. And so I'm going to see Yellow Submarine either today or tomorrow at the local HMV Curzon in Wimbledon, which will be great. The other thing which happened 50 years ago this month is the Mad Day Out photo session. So Don McCullum, the lead photographer from that day out, released a book a couple of, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago maybe, with his pictures from the sessions, which were mainly black and white. But another photographer was accompanying them on the Mad Day Out. So apart from Linda and Yoko and Mal Evans and Mal Evans' son, there were at least 2, if not 3 photographers actually. And this book is covering Tom Murray's pictures, and it was only available on that pledge system for about 100 quid plus, but now finally it's secured a commercial release. And the only thing to say is maybe there could have been more. He only took 2 colour rolls of film with him that day. If he'd known, he probably would have taken 50, but that's with hindsight. So familiar pictures and some interesting commentary. He was obviously a fan. He was delighted to have this opportunity. That portrait of George is one of his favourites. The famous pictures in Swains Lane, because they went to Highgate Cemetery and it was closed. They wanted to visit Karl Marx's tomb. He ended up in this, outside this normal house, and that picture on the previous page was Tom Murray having his photo taken with the current owners. So that's on my list of places to go, because last November we went up to St Pancras Gardens and saw, you know, the location where they filmed this, for example. And if any of you ever get anywhere near London and you haven't visited that location, I thoroughly recommend it, because you can't quite recreate the photos, because 50 years have seen a few changes, particularly in the floral growth and stuff. Interesting one of Paul there, and sideways view. But the benches are there and the fountain is there. Just iconic pictures, and this book goes some way to fulfilling what I said they should do for all historic Beatles photo locations. They should bring out a book with every single photo from that session. In this case we have 2 books. Here's the picture with the old man. And if someone could do a similar job on the Tittenhurst Park August 29, 69 session, that would be great. At Old Street Station, again, familiar images, but nice to have them. That's the one on the cover as well. Nice to have them in a nice glossy book. Don't believe I'd seen that one before. And as I say, he's talking about how John and Paul were bouncing ideas off each other throughout the day and were clearly the leaders of the group. George and Ringo were kind of in the background a bit. George and Ringo liked to hang out together, was Tom's comment. Down by Canary Wharf. And the famous or infamous picture of Lennon acting dead, which was also in the Don McCullin book, but I think it was in black and white. You can't actually get to that river location these days because it's a private estate, unfortunately. And then back in Paul's house in St John's Wood with Martha at the end of the session. So and then, you know, I mentioned St Pancras Gardens. Well, this is Tom Murray showing where the photos were taken, various locations, and the same for Wapping Pierhead. So just wanted to show you that, and just mark the 50th anniversary of July 1968, which is an important month, as important as any probably in Beatle history. So thanks for watching, see you next time.